And here we go. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jason. This is Sarah, my wife, and the COO of DoorGrow. And I am the CEO of DoorGrow. And I've been helping property managers grow and scale their businesses for over a decade. I've seen and heard a few things over the last several years. And so I know a few things about growing and scaling property management companies and helping optimize their businesses. I'm excited to help all of you today. So if you could help me help you, go ahead and comment in the chat what you want. I want you to comment in the chat what you want. Like, what do you really want for your business? It could be anything. Your goals, maybe it's doors, maybe it's you want to hit a revenue level. Maybe it's just to make your life easier, streamline the business. Nice, Mike, Zane, growth. Okay, cool. All right. Some of you all want to add doors, and then some of you all want to know that adding more doors is going to make your life worse personally, because you're already at that level. And those probably those of you that are in what I call the second sand trap, around 200 to 400 units. Usually at that stage, adding more doors makes you more money, but it makes your life shittier for a lot of you. And we're going to see if we can solve that today. And that means that you have a business that's not scalable, and it means you have the wrong team. Plain and simple. It means, and if you haven't grown significantly over the last year or two, bottom line, you're focused on the wrong things. So hopefully you understand that. That means that your focus is on the wrong things. And I'm going to help reveal where your focus should be today. And so you'll be able to clearly see how your focus has been on the wrong things so that you can start to move this forward. Okay. So I'm loving all these comments: more quality properties, improve operations, then grow. Okay, cool. Awesome. So we have, before we start, transparently, we have two programs. I'm just going to tell you about it now. We have Mastermind Lite. It's basically like $16K for the year. And then we have, and this focus is primarily on adding doors. We have our rapid revamp where it's like bar rescue for property managers. We clean up the whole front end of your business so that it's optimized and more effective. These are all the things that you need to do before you try to go get leads, because otherwise you're just wasting and leaking tons of money throughout the pipeline that comes after. And then we have Mastermind Super System. Well, in Mastermind Lite, we also have the Growth Accelerator. These are strategies in which we're able to eliminate your advertising expense in your business, which for some of you might be thousands of dollars, down to basically zero, and help you grow faster than you can with paid advertising. We have clients adding 100, 200, 300. One of our clients added 400 doors in less than a year, and they're doing it through organic methods without having to do any paid advertising. Paid advertising usually is slower. They're able to outpace the biggest companies in their market when it comes to growth. The Super System, this is our second level of the Mastermind. This is 28K for the year. And this is where we make the business infinitely scalable, is what I call it, where we get the systems, help you get an operator, get the operations tightened up. And this is really a program that's a better fit probably for 200 door plus companies that are doing at least 20K a month in revenue. Okay. So if you're kind of at that point where things are painful, that's probably the level you want to go to. And that's our program. Now we have tons of evidence that we can help people. We have tons of case studies. We have a whole YouTube playlist. I will give that to those of you that do not yet trust us, because we know that nobody signs up until they fully trust us. Some of you are clients, and go ahead and comment in the chat if they should trust us, because you've added doors and you know what's behind the paywall. That we would appreciate that. Hey, Brandon, can I unmute you real quick? You just say something about us.
I was literally about to type something.
I know you were.
No, it has done wonders for our company and given me the vision of where to take it to the next level. We've doubled. We're at the spot. The choices I made was to grow quickly and build revenue first. And then it allows some other types of learning curve that you can only get with experience. And we've been cleaning up the growth, which is a good problem. You know, cleaning up the growth. We've purged, I think, close to 40 doors now, but we're
Nice.
doing it when we add new doors because we've gotten that engine. It's like a big locomotive engine is the way I describe the growth.
Yeah. So
It's
Brandon, you've been
Florida.
on a lot of calls with us. You've seen a lot of other people, commenting their wins. What would you say to people here that are like, I don't know about these DoorGrow guys and gals? So
No, I would say genuinely it has been legitimate, great training. I would never be here if it wasn't for this coaching. And that is truth, not spin. It is the truth that we're close to 140 doors right now with all the purging. And it was only because of the coaching and the vision I got from both of y'all.
Brandon, love you, man. Appreciate it. All right, let's get into this. So stick around to the end. I'm going to share some real value today. I wanted to get that out of the way. Stick around to the end. I will be making an offer. It's low pressure, but it's a ridiculous deal because my birthday is this month on the 30th. So I got Sarah's permission to do a ridiculous deal for the month. And we don't do this. We don't discount usually. We don't do deals, but my birthday's on the 30th. And I said, let's do something crazy. And so this is for potential clients and for existing clients. So those of you that are clients of ours, this deal, you can get the benefit of it as well. So stick around to the end if that's of interest to you. All right. So first, I want to give everyone a reality check. I had mentioned if you're not growing, you're focused on the wrong things. So what I would like to do is I'm going to share with everyone in the chat. I'm going to post this. Well, you know what? I'm going to start drawing. Can I start drawing? I'm going to share my iPad screen here and see add page. Let's see. All right, let me see if I can share my screen. Let me connect my iPad to this. And let's see if this works. All right. Awesome. Okay. So I think we're pretty great at DoorGrow. I'm obviously biased. All right. So what I would like for all of you to do is we're going to do a quick core functions assessment. Grab a pen, something to write with, and we're going to go through, and then here's a little magic trick. These are the 6 core functions, and we're going to figure out what you should be focused on in your business right now. So the first is lead gen. And what I want you to do is rate each of these on a 1 to 5, 5 being best, 1 being worst. And it's impossible for all 6 of these to be a 5 at the same time. I just want you to be aware of that. And this will help you figure out what have I been focused on? What should I be focused on? What's that? Oh, okay. I'm letting people into the room. So there's like, I'll do it. All right. So lead gen, nurture. So lead gen is getting people to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested, or you get a lead or you capture a lead. Nurture is warming up these leads. It's follow-up. It's they're in your CRM. It's reaching out. It's giving them, stuff that's going to help warm them up and make them trust you, know you, and like you so that you can move them towards conversion. Conversion is where you convert them into becoming a client. And this is how good you are at selling, closing the deal, your conversion. And this maybe is your BDM or sales team or whatever are focused on these first 3, or this might be you. So a lot of times we call all of this sales. So you're like, I need more deals. And a lot of people say, I need more leads. Sometimes you don't need more leads. Sometimes you just need better nurture and conversion. All right. Number 4 is, what's number 4? Oh, delivery or fulfillment, right? Delivery. And this is property management. This is leasing, maintenance. This is doing the work that they have paid you to do. So we want to make sure we focus on, that's one of the functions. And then next is, I'll call it CLV or LTV, lifetime value, or customer lifetime value. And this is related to like your pricing, fees, churn, like how long you can keep clients on versus losing them. This is the customer lifetime value, and which is a very important metric to be focused on. And then number 6 is financials. This and financials is understanding your finances, knowing how to read your profit and loss statement, knowing where things are in your business, and that the business is financially healthy, right? And so we want to make sure that we focus. So we've got the first three in the front end, and then we've got the latter three that are more on the back end of the business. And if you ramp up lead gen, nurture, and conversion, then delivery is going to experience some constraints. And so delivery will go down naturally. CLV might experience some issues if delivery isn't measuring up, and you might like have clients canceling or lose some people. Financials might not be good if number 5 isn't good, if you don't have good pricing and fees, or efficient delivery, then profitability and in your financials will not be great. And so all of these impact the others. And if you have really good financials, then you may want to hire more people and build out your delivery team, which then makes the machine a bigger beast to feed. And then you need to do more leads to feed this beast, right? So this is the endless juggle of running a company. You cannot have all these be perfect at the same time. It's impossible. It's everything kind of works in balance like a teeter-totter. And so this is something you want to assess on a regular basis to figure out what should I be focused on in the business. So give me some comments right now. I want to see in the chat, which one is your weakest right now and which one is your best. And usually I see these fall into 2 camps. So, we're only as sick as our secrets. So be transparent. All of us are going to have one of these. Big companies might have issues with lead gen because they just want more, even though they're closing 20, 30 deals a month, So these don't really say anything about you personally or about your business other than this is where your focus should be, right? So what is your weakest function and what is your strongest function? Comment in the chat. And how can I see the chat here? I've got this window in the way. Let me see here. Zoom. Where's my toolbar? Oh, here we go. Chat. I'll make sure I can see the chat while I'm drawing here. All right. So lead gen, nurture and conversion. Lead gen, delivery is the most painful for us. Conversion, right. Strongest is financials or conversion. Okay, awesome. So now what I find is if you find that, let's say lead gen is a 1. Why is my thing not working? Okay. Lead gen's a 1 and nurture or conversion. Let's say conversion is well, not conversion. Let's say delivery is a 5. I see this a lot. So what this tells me is that you have a business in which you continually focus on pleasing your customers to the detriment of your own self and your self-worth. You're not focused on what the business needs most, and you're not focused on getting leads. You are focused on just giving and giving and giving to your clients. And if you see that there is a 5 and a 1, what that tells me is you need to be willing to give up this being a 5. You cannot maintain this being a 5 while this is a 1. This is a bad business decision. This is bad business decision. This is bad decision making in your business. So I want you to be clear on this. You are making bad choices because you cannot have a 5 and hold on to that and then have a 1 and have a healthy business that's growing. That's going to affect your financials. It's going to hurt a lot of things. And so the way I sometimes talk about that, and let me see if my iPad can handle all these slides. I don't know. I'm going to try and find my monkey slide here. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. So we want to make sure we're focused on the right things. And here it is. So it's a little blurry. Oh, here we go. All right. So these are the monkey and the moldy peanuts, right? So the monkey put his hand in the trap. There's some peanuts in there. He cannot get his hand out because he won't let go of the peanuts because he is not being smart. And so then the farmer comes along and like kills the monkey. So he stops eating his bananas, right? But there's bananas within reach. The monkey's unwilling to let go of what they're holding on to. So you have to be willing to let go of that 5 wherever it might be sitting that's holding you captive, and while you have a 1. Maybe it slips to a 4, maybe it slips to a 3 even, but you get lead gen, for example, up to a 3 or a 4. And then you can shift your focus back to whatever has dipped or is now weaker. And this is how we make healthy decisions in the business. All right. So hopefully that little magic trick that we call the 6 core functions was helpful for you to figure out what you need to focus on. All right. So this class is about priorities. And so we want to talk about priorities and in the business. And so we want to make sure that you're prioritizing the right things. If you're not prioritizing the right things, then you will not have a business that is expensive. So or that is profitable. Sorry. So what's the biggest expense in a business? What's the biggest expense? Let's see what people come up with in chat here. What is your biggest expense in your business? Labor, payroll, manpower, right?
Right on the money.
Yep, people, staffing, right? So
Literally.
yeah. Right? Staff and team is your biggest expense in the business. And so what I see, but what's the first thing that every company talks about or people focus on when they want to increase profit? And a lot of you that have gotten between 200 to 400 doors, you're probably in the least profitable place you've ever been. I call that the swamp of success. Why? Because you built up a business with a bunch of people, team members, which are very expensive. And because you have, a bunch of doors you need to manage, and you didn't really focus too much on optimizing this. And so then now you think you need more profit. And then what do people tend to focus on? How do most people try to increase their profit? What are you naturally feeling? Those of you that are feeling like profit isn't best. Okay. They might focus on, I just need to get more doors. I need to outpace my inefficient and shitty business model by just stacking and adding more customers, right? Maybe your pricing is off, but I just need more doors, right? You cannot outpace by getting more leads and getting more sales a shitty business model. You will actually run your business into failure. You will run your business into failure if you do not have this piece dialed in correctly. You will move your business forward to the point where it hurts so bad and it's so unprofitable. You start to lose clients, you start to lose doors, you can't add more, you're stressing yourself out because way too much is focused on you and you're burning yourself out. You cannot outpace this. So you try and get more revenue. Now, when people finally figure that out, that's not working, then what do they try to do? They try to beat up their team. And the keyword I usually see is KPIs. They're like, we just need more KPIs. AKA this dreaded word, we need to micromanage our team more. We need to squeeze more blood from our team members and make their life a little bit even more miserable and micromanage them more because we need to get more profit. And this is also the wrong problem to try and solve. This is the wrong thing to do. This is where we start to jump to focusing on profit when we're missing far bigger levers in your business. There are far bigger levers that can affect your profitability than trying to squeeze blood from people through KPIs. This does not create good culture. This does not create team members that believe in you. This does not get better output from your team. And throwing bonuses and more money at your team members also is a huge mistake. And most of your team members do not get more motivated by more money. This is a mistake entrepreneurs make because we love money. How many of you don't hate money? Show your hands. I don't hate money. Okay. Hopefully you don't hate money. Most people on the planet, though, they actually have an issue with money. They have an issue with money. If you had them do a DISC assessment, looked at their values index, their economic score would be low, which means they actually would rather get more recognition for good work and perform better than more pay. And if you pay them more, or you start paying them even worse, you start handing out percentages to your team members residually. This is a huge, horrible thing to do for profitability. Nobody in your team should be getting a residual percentage, not your BDM, not your property manager. If you're making that mistake right now, you need to undo that and figure out a better model, because it's not motivating them to be better. It actually makes them usually lazier because they get comfortable. Salesperson could get 1%, but only for the upfront for the deal they close. So they're motivated to get another deal. And probably nobody else on the team should be connected to 1%. Certainly not connected to residual income, because their performance tends to go down. They should just be paid a flat salary, right? Okay. Hopefully people are getting some ideas. So by going through this now, how do we solve this problem of the biggest expense being our staff? Well, we could start to eliminate staff. That is an option, but how do we make this more effective? Usually the issue is that we have the wrong team. This is usually the actual issue. So let me see if I can showcase this. So how many of you recognize that this is true? I don't know if you can see this. Oh, this is blurry. All right. The more valuable you are to your company, the less valuable your company is. This is true. If you want to sell your business and everything's heavily tied to you, you're going to get a much smaller multiple. This is not very effective. Also, your business is not, this is true about profit. The more valuable you are to your company, the less profitable your company is right now. So if you have a team of people in which you're always having to answer questions for everybody on the team, they're always coming to you. This is what your actual org chart looks like. This might be Fred, but this is in parentheses, it's you. This might be Susie, but in parentheses, it's also you. This is not a scalable growth model. And so this means you have a business that the more doors you add, if you were to add another 100 doors this year, which we could easily help you do, or 200, or even 300, your life would get worse, because this is not a sustainable or a scalable business model. And so I'm not going to go into too much detail about team members, but this is one of the things that we do is we help people replace sometimes their entire team. And then they can scale and then they become profitable. But this is one of my frameworks, the 3 fits. And I'm guessing right now on your team, you have people that are not a culture fit, which means they don't have the same values or beliefs that you have, which means you don't trust them. So you have to go and check up on them and micromanage them. You need the more KPIs, you need more processes, you need more metrics. And if you think process and KPIs and all that is going to solve a bad team, then you're highly mistaken. And here's the real truth. You cannot teach culture. You cannot change culture. You cannot change somebody's values. This is pretty much hardwired. This is from their religion, from their parents, from their upbringing, from their past traumas, right? They have their values. You also are not going to be able to change their personality, which means they naturally love doing the job or the role that you have given them to do. You will get, but you can teach skill. Skill is the one that you can teach. Now, if your team members are not all 3 fits, and I find if they are all 3 fits, you can easily get 3 times the output from your team members. So if you right now know that your team members do not share your values, you do not trust them to make decisions the way that you would, if they're not the personality fit for the role, they don't wake up in the morning going, I love doing this. There's somebody that loves doing everything there is on the planet. Some people love changing bedpans. They feel like they're making a difference for that person, right? There are people out there that love doing just about any role. And that means they're the right personality fit. You right now, if your business isn't growing, my guess is you are wearing hats. This is a hat. You are wearing hats that you are not the right personality fit for, and you are holding the business back. And then what happens is we build our team while we still hold on to a bunch of ugly hats that we don't like wearing. Like, we hold on to them because for some reason we think nobody else out there could be better than us because of ego or whatever it might be. And then we build a team around ourselves. And this is what our team looks like. We're doing the wrong things when we're really like this. We're We're going into these other areas that we feel like nobody else could do it as well as me. I've got to hold on to it. I've got to do this. And then we start to build a team around ourselves as the wrong person. And that means we have the wrong team. You know, you have the wrong team by default if right now you are still wearing hats that you do not enjoy in the business. What that means is you built a team based on what the business needs instead of based on what you need. And so you have built the wrong team. And this is not your team's fault. This is your fault. You are the person that chose the team. You are the person that's tolerating bad team members. You're the person that's allowing the wrong team because you have never gotten enough clarity to know what you really enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and to focus on building that. This team will give you easily 3 times the output, far more profit. And so people is a much bigger lever than focusing on micromanaging or on KPIs. This is lots of micromanaging to still stay afloat. This, you don't even need KPIs. We have clients that don't have KPIs at all defined, and they're still hitting at least 40% profit margin in their business. Sarah, and what was your profit margin in your business? You had 260 doors.
Over 60%.
Over 60%. She's since sold her property management business. So businesses can be far more efficient. Now, why do we need so many team members? I'm going to throw everybody a magic bone here. Why do we need so many people per door? What's the biggest time suck in a business related to your team and related to people? Any ideas? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. I'm looking at the chat. Comment in the chat. What do you think is the biggest challenge related to people? Okay, communication. Well, the more people you have on a team, the less efficient communication is. So this is a little thing I want to show you. Let's say these are all team members and you've got like 200 doors and you got like a team of all these people. Each dot is a team member. Well, this person may need to communicate with this person and with this person and with this person and this person and this, and maybe not that one. And then this person needs to communicate with them and with them and with them. And did you do this and this? And you can see how this gets pretty crazy. So the level of communication in a business becomes way less efficient the more people you have. So if you have a team members that are giving you 3 times the output, this will be a far more efficient business, right? Far more efficient. I don't know. I'm trying to draw lines to everybody, but you get the idea. So then this mess. So the problem is we don't have A players. These are B players. B players I call hiders. You know they're hiders if secretly they complain about you and they live for the weekend and they would rather, if they were like, if you could read their mind and find out if they would rather, well, the way I describe a hider is they would rather do as little as possible and get paid as much as possible if they were really honest. Believers, they share your values, they're culture fit, they're inspired to work for you. They're like almost a fanatic for your company. These are A players. A players want to be seen. They're not hiders. They want to be seen. They think about you on the weekend. They think about your business while they're in the shower. They give you their discretionary time. A players love their job. They love because they're the right personality fit for it. And they love your company because they're the right culture fit for it. And they learn and figure out the skill. You do not need to give them a bunch of KPIs. You don't have to micromanage them. You just need to point them in the right direction. They will far surpass anybody that you try to micromanage with KPIs. Okay. So, all right. Let's see what's next on my list. The biggest leak. Let me see. I'm going to add another. I want some drawing space here. Add page. All right. The biggest leak in a property management related to people is this. How many people would you need on, how many people could you let go of your team if there were 0 phone calls coming into your business? 0 phone calls. Sarah was able to manage 260 doors remotely with 1 part-time person, boots on the ground. These were C-class properties, really low rent. Like, what was the average rent?
$800.
$800. Okay. You can imagine the type of quality of like tenants and people that she would deal with, right? These were old properties in upstate Pennsylvania. Upstate, is that accurate? Northeast Pennsylvania. And she was only running her business part-time, and she had 1 part-time person to go and do like open up properties, do showings, and post notices. That's how efficient. And it was because she was able to eliminate probably 90% of the phone calls that most of you deal with. We have a training in our platform. I don't have time to go through all of that right now, but that's the big secret related to it. There's methods for eliminating phone calls to owners. They don't really want to talk to you. Actually, they don't care about property management. They just want to know that they're safe with you. What else?
Biggest one is
Tenants.
maintenance.
And that's
more prospective tenants.
Yeah, existing. And then the prospective tenants. That's absolute garbage of phone calls. And then vendors. And did I miss any? I think there was another, but anyway, that's that again is about priorities. All right. I'm writing really well. All right, priorities. So that's about setting priorities in your business, right? So you need to have, which is really also about boundaries, right? And educating and teaching these people how to communicate with you and leveraging things like email, SMS, stuff like this. This actually provides a record. So there's, you have evidence and a record, and allowing them to use the systems they have in place. There's cool technology. There's lots of tools. Most people actually don't want to talk to you. They're talking to you because it's the best strategy they can figure out. But most people would rather self-serve, it's proven, than talk to somebody on the phone. And you are failing at giving them the ability to self-serve, or you're not educating them or making it like pushing them towards that, right? So that is a huge secret. Hopefully this sparks some ideas for you, but we can go deeper once you're a client and help you figure out how to do this. Sarah, from a single phone call, has helped some of our clients cut their staffing costs in half and dramatically improve their profitability. Okay. The biggest, I talked about that, the True Issues team. All right. So the 3 largest levers, let's talk about the 3 largest levers. I want one more page here. 3 largest levers. These are larger than KPIs, metrics, etc. These are the things you need in order to become scalable. So you need 3 major systems. So we talked about people. We need a people system. This relates to hiring, vetting, getting people quickly that are a good option. If you don't have a good people system, you will probably have bad hires. Everybody does. You'll have a far higher percentage of bad hires. One bad hire typically will cost you minimum about $10,000 in wasted money. Why? Because usually it takes you about 3 months to figure it out. And people fire slowly sometimes. And so there's probably about 3 months of pay. And then there's at least that amount, maybe in opportunity cost, that you maybe didn't have to, that a business you couldn't capture because they weren't efficient. You then weren't able to function as the BDM or go out and do sales because you had to clean up their messes or deal with them or whatever it might be. One bad hire is minimum 10 grand, right? You do not, this is really ineffective for a business. Most businesses in this industry will play Russian roulette in hiring, and eventually, after about a decade, maybe 5 years to a decade, finally get a really great team, and that is built around them, and they always get to 600 plus doors. If you are not at 600 plus doors right now, it's probably because you do not yet have the right team. You don't have a team of 8 players. You might not even believe that it's possible because you haven't had a really good people system. This is one of the main things we like to help clients install in our super system level of our mastermind. The next major, and this will dramatically increase your profitability, having a good people system, and you'll be able to, as you stack and add doors, when you actually do need people, And you need to know when you actually need to hire. Our clients don't, if they're following our process, do not hire somebody until their existing team member that says they're maxed out does a time study and proves that they actually need to get somebody else. Most of you just assume all your team members that say they're maxed out or too busy really are. And usually when we have people do their first time study, you're able to help them become more efficient, see some things, and they have 30% more time available just by doing that process that we have. Usually it takes 3 time studies before they legitimately need support. And then you get them an assistant, for example. So people system, next major system that you need in order to be seriously profitable is you need a good process system. Now, I wasn't really poo-pooing on process, but process won't save you if you have a bad team. But if you have a good team, good culture fit, good personality fit, good skill fit, they just need the skill and they need consistency, then a good process system will be magic in the business. It'll then be magic in the business. Now, process, all right, I want everyone to understand this. How many of you have process documentation? The process documentation is not a process system. It's not enough. Just documentation is the equivalent of having that owner's manual in your glove box of your car that you never look at. Process documentation over time gets worse. Team members look at it less. They feel like it's in the way. They want to just do what they need to do. And there's no accountability for them to actually follow it. You have no evidence that they're actually opening up that documentation, reading it, and doing it. Process documentation alone is not a system. It's not a system, and it doesn't really work, and it doesn't improve. These are not processes that they have to use every time. And unless they have to use it, the process won't get better over time or get improved. So you need a process system. I'm biased, but I think the best process system out there is DoorGrow Flow. And we have DoorGrow Flow is a flowchart based software in which you can have decisions and like, do they have pets? Yes or no, and like stuff like this. And you can have things merge back together. So it's a flowchart based software, and they run through this. They run through this every time they do a process. And while they're doing it, they're able to see where they're at in the process. You are here, right? And they can see it visually. And so this creates a lot of clarity on a team. And what I find is, I don't know what's going on. I've got something ringing here. Hold on, let me see if I can stop this. Sorry. That is my phone. All right. Okay. Yeah, I know. I think I killed it. Let me close some windows here in case somebody calls me back. All right. If one of you are calling me right now, I'm busy. All right. So DoorGrow Flow, we have in the super system, we have a whole bunch of software. It's all included at no additional cost as part of the super system. DoorGrow Flow is one of them. It's super cool. But you need some sort of process software and system that your team members use when they run a process. Now, what most will do is they'll go get some sort of system like, I don't know, Process Street, Lead Simple, or Asana or something like that. Those are more a checklist. And the problem with checklists is that people can usually on them skip steps unless you're building really complicated stuff. And then it's really difficult to have, different paths like A or B to do this. And it's difficult to see because it still just looks like a checklist. And so what we find is people start skipping steps. People start just checking boxes off without actually accomplishing things because they're just getting lazy and trying to speed it up. Well, I did all these things. That's not a very effective process system as well. But you need processes documented and you need your team members using them. Having good people and then having good process system means if you lose a person, you can replace them quickly and they can get up to speed quickly. And so your business then becomes far more scalable. especially as you grow and add doors quickly. You can get people quickly, vet people quickly, and you can get them in, like running through your processes because they can just follow directions. The next major system that you're going to need in your business is a planning system. This is where you add the proverbial rocket fuel to your team. That, you know, if you have a great team, this is where you get a huge yield from your team. Now, there are some planning systems out there in the marketplace that people talk about, like EOS, which is related to the book Traction, stuff like this. These have some fundamental flaws, and there's reasons that I don't like these, because these are very, if this is you at the top of this pyramid on your team, they're very top down, and this does not engage the team effectively. You need a system that is bottom up, that allows your team members to be sold on actions, your team members to be bought in on actions and goals, and your team members to be working on those goals. The challenge I have with EOS is that their accountability chart or org chart looks like this. And this is the visionary. So they want to inflate your ego that you're so important. You have all the best ideas. And a lot of people go, yeah, that's me. I'm the visionary. I have all the best ideas. My team members are dumb, which is not true. Your team members probably have the best ideas because they're actually connected to the things that are being done. They have things they can innovate and see, but they don't want to overstep you. And so they're going to just say, yeah, whatever you want. And you end up as the emperor in this situation, or empress with no clothes. Everybody's saying, yes, you're right. We'll do whatever you say. Then here they have what they call the integrator. There's several flaws with this, but the reason they showed this accountability chart and have the visionary only connected to one person is because this is what in EOS that they sell. They sell these coaches. So they want to overinflate the importance of this person. This person interacts with the whole team. This is a terrible way to set up your business, to have one person that can write their own ticket connected to your entire team and have the team loyal and reporting and responsible just to them, right? So I do not like this idea either. So the way we do DoorGrow OS is we start with the 6 core functions, like I took you through. Then the team brainstorms on these, and the business owner, yourself, the visionary, and your operator you need to be last to speak, and your operator needs to be second last to speak, so that you actually get valid ideas and feedback and data from your team, who are on the front line doing the stuff day to day and helping you figure out, how do we improve lead gen? How do we improve nurture, conversion, et cetera? And then based on that, we're breaking it down into your annual goals, into quarterly goals, monthly goals, and then into weekly commitments. And this is where, when I first installed a system like this in our business, and we run our system we call DoorGrow OS for operating system. DoorGrow OS is far superior. We've had a lot of people come from the EOS Traction sort of thing, not really following this because this doesn't even make sense, and then not really getting their team bought in and moving things forward. DoorGrow OS turns your team members into entrepreneurs. Let's see if I spell it right. Entrepreneurs are people that think like a business owner. They understand what needs to be done. They focus on outcomes, and they become leaders. And because they're focused on goals and outcomes instead of being told what to do, which is transactional leadership, where you're throwing tasks at them and dollars and just saying, do the fucking work, that does not inspire or motivate people to become entrepreneurs and to innovate and to think and to move forward. But when you give them a deadline and a goal to move towards, they then have to get creative. They have to innovate. They start moving things forward. They will do extra work. They'll do whatever's required to hit that goal. And we believers love the accountability of DoorGrow OS because they show up every week and they either get a green yes on their weekly commitments or they get a red no. And this creates a lot of positive peer pressure. Performers that want to be seen and want to be recognized love this system, and hiders usually quit. They hate it. You need a system like this. You will get way more yield from your team than if you just throw KPIs at them and try to micromanage them. This is where they're making choices to help move the business forward, and they can see the vision of the business and they can see what's happening, instead of what usually happens is this quote unquote visionary comes back from a conference, walks into the room, has a meeting with the team, and throws a grenade into the middle of the floor saying, hey, we're going to do all this new stuff. I just got these ideas, pulls the pin on it, throws it in the middle of the room, and then walks out and thinks they have inspired the team. And the team are like, why? I have enough work on my plate. I don't even want to do this. They do not get the buy-in from the team. They don't get the results from the team. And so these 3 systems are imperative to having a super profitable business. Hopefully some light bulbs are going off. You're getting some insights here. You need people, process, and planning system. And then if you have these 3 things, your business can almost run itself. You might not even need to be super involved in the business, because really with the DoorGrow OS, with a really good planning system in your business, even if you take your annual planning meeting, your 90-day planning meeting, your 30-day planning meeting, and you're going to have 12 of these, of course, you're going to have 4 of these, you're going to have 1 of these, and maybe a culture meeting, which we recommend, and maybe 15-minute daily huddles, and maybe roughly 50 weekly commitments meetings. You can run your entire business in only 300 hours a year if you attended every meeting. This is why you need a really good executive team that you trust culturally, that are the right personality fit for their roles and the right skill fit. And in order to get these systems to work, if you are that visionary entrepreneur person, you don't need an integrator. Integrators are, you shouldn't have somebody as an integrator that is over sales and marketing, or that they're opposite personality types. It creates too much conflict. What you need instead is you need an operator. An operator will love getting all of these systems installed and in place, while you won't find this very fun as a visionary. And they will run these systems. And so if you don't have an operator, we help our clients get those operators. We coach these operators. We help you get these systems installed. And then you're going to have a far more profitable business. And then your business is infinitely scalable. You can go crazy adding doors. You can hire a full-time BDM. You can add 100, 200, 300, 400 doors a year. And we can coach your BDMs on how to do this. And you will not have any constraints, because you will have an infinitely scalable business. It can add people as needed quickly, the right people, and not waste $10,000 on bad hires. You will have a really good planning system, so everybody is rowing the boat in the same direction, and they're all moving the business forward faster. And you will then become the person that your team are trying to pull along, instead of you trying to pull your team. And then you'll have a really good process so that people can get up to speed quickly, or if somebody leaves, or somebody's pregnant, or somebody's sick, or whatever might come up, then other people can step in very quickly on your team and just follow the processes and do that work. And so your business continues to be able to be scalable. So those are the 3 major systems and the 3 larger levers to having a very profitable business. All right, we are at time. So I'm going to tell you, hopefully this has been helpful. Go ahead and comment in the chat what really stood out to you, what's really interesting. Somebody asked about DoorGrow hiring, what's different. So DoorGrow hiring, we help you set up a DoorGrow ATS, which is an applicant tracking system, which is one of our systems. And we help you, we also have an AI assessments tool that we've partnered with that's usually not affordable to most property management business owners, that allows us to find people that are really good personality fits for the role and really good intelligence fits for the role. Because the number one indicator of whether a team member will be able to perform well is usually in intelligence, their cognitive ability. And then we also, in our system, we help you map out your culture materials, and then we help you learn how to vet your team members that you have currently and new hires based on cultural fit. It's very easy to identify people that are believers once you have your culture stuff defined, and you need to get that stuff defined so that we can build the business and the team around you. So we help you with all of these pieces. So that's real high level about the DoorGrow hiring piece, Christine. Good question. Okay, so let me tell you, let me add another page here. And let me tell you a little bit about our offer. So offer is really simple. So normally we have a 4.
Are you stopping the recording or
no? Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to stop the recording because by the time people see some of this, watch this replay way later on, then if you are watching the recording and you want to hear about this deal, then reach out to us. And there's a really good deal, and it's only until the 30th. So there you go. So now I'm going to stop the recording. How do I stop this? Stop recording. Resume recording. So if you're interested in this, if you can keep these 3 commitments, so you can dedicate 1 hour of strategic time in working on being a business owner in your business, 2 hours a day doing some actual work in your business, and 3, attend our weekly call. If you can do these 3 things, then we know that you can be a great client. And if you believe us, then text me. If you're interested in our program, text me at 512-960-3162 with your name, email, and whether you want the light or the super system program. And we can reach out, get payment, and get you started and have you start getting all these systems in place and make you super profitable. So, and we would love to do that. And do that soon, right? All right. Is there anything else that we need to cover before we wrap up? Okay, then if anybody has any additional questions, you're welcome to throw them in the chat, but I think we've covered a lot of stuff, and hopefully all of you are going to have much more profitable businesses. I would love it if you would reach out and let us know if you got some value from this. Feel free to reach out, and we hope all of you have a successful, awesome day and a good weekend. And until next time, to our mutual growth. All right. Bye, everyone.